The future of e-school will answer four main questions. The questions that we posted on the poster, we've been asking ourselves, which is the best board? How do you choose the right board? What are the subjects? And what is the future of e-school? Once again, I welcome each and every one of you, which I've been told that people are from all across India, from the Gulf. There's some people all the way from Singapore. So it is wonderful to see most of you, people who I know, people who have met, interacted over the years. And now, thanks to the COVID, we are meeting again online though. Hopefully, I'll meet you in person. But exactly this brings us to the question that is this the new normal? Are we going to continue? The COVID situation, has it taught us what education can do? What boundaries can be broken? So please join me in a small video presentation as I explain a little bit of what future of schooling can be, and then we'll take an entire program ahead with you, a lot of interaction and conversations.
Mark Twain said, "I did not let my schooling interfere with my education." I wonder if Mark would have come in a corona times and seen what has happened of our education. Knowledge and information were always two different things. Today, we can really see the difference where our children are being knowledgeable, wise, and know more about rote learning, memorization, and information alone. The e-learning is here to stay. This is the new normal. And now the education has become more democratic, more transparent. Sal Khan of Khan Academy always said about one world school. Today we see that. Come join us for a revolutionary workshop where we see the scope of what e-learning is all about. Classes are all happening online. Even sports, fitness and arts. So come join this in this webinar that will open up a lot of your doubts, that will unravel the mysteries of online learning. We'll talk about open system, the open schooling, NIOS. We'll talk about the boards as a candidate, private or otherwise, how can you apply? We'll talk about the subjects, the future, the career that your child can come. So come and join us in this free webinar, The Future of E-Learning, and come and open up this world of opportunities for your children.
Right, perfect. This is exactly the kind of opening we want. We want a Rohit Sharma kind of opening. We will discuss a lot of questions. Remember, one of the key thing to e-learning is when you take up a program like this, when you look at the questions, always people ask, are schools bad then? And I've always come and said, for one to be successful, other need not be bad. I come back with IPL fever right now, and I'm a big cricket fan. For Virat Kohli to be very good, MS Dhoni, well, he's not having very good time with Super Kings right now, but MS Dhoni need not be bad. You see, for Roger Federer to be an excellent tennis player, Rafa Nadal or Djokovic should not be bad as such. Well, that's exactly what you're talking about. In today's world, the e-school and the organized school, as I call the structured school, the physical school, both can coexist. And that is what we are talking about. In summary, I just summarized the entire session for you, that the future of e-school is the new age learning. And that is exactly what we'll discuss. The entire presentation, hopefully, is a presentation to share the thoughts I've learned over the years, especially in the last few months, with educators from Mexico, from Spain, from Nigeria, from all across India, from Professor Harish Chaudhary in IIT Delhi to Professor Sunil Handa from instructor IIM Ahmedabad, people who have made my thought, and people I request, as my gurus and my mentors, and I have summarized this in this new age education. So what are we learning today? What are we going to talk about today? Well, today, as I said, the laptop and the textbook can coexist. It's not either or situation. We are not saying choose this or your future is spoiled. Oh no, we are not White Hat Junior, where we say if you don't do coding at 3 years of age, your child will never ever be able to understand what coding is, or he will do coding at 4 years and he'll become Elon Musk and Tesla. As much as like coding, these are very misleading conversations. These are misleading parental emotional conversations where, as a parent, and I wrote a long blog, I shared somebody's blog where it was said that, you see, for you to be smart, you don't have to exactly go to the only universities in the world. The same way. Let's take the conversation in a simple way. For me, I'm still the old school where I want to pick up a textbook, I want to pick up a book, smell the book, and read it. Now, some of you may argue, oh, that's very old thought. That's a dinosaur age. You don't read from books. You are wasting paper. You're cutting down trees. We are the SDG thinking. I read on Kindle. I read on my tab. I read on AnyBooks app. By the way, a brilliant app, AnyBooks, around 500 bucks downloaded. So the debate is not which is better. The debate at the end of the conversation is, are you reading? You see, can I repeat what I said? You see, the same way, the debate is not Kindle is better or an old fashioned book is better. The conversation should be, are you reading? That's exactly what we're talking about. It's not an either or. Are e-schools, online schools, platforms better than physical schools? No. The point is, are our children learning? So it's at the end of the session, at the end of this workshop, if you can take back those pointers that irrespective, my student, my child should learn, irrespective of the medium, we are successful. And that's exactly the kind of thinking we do. Oh, I can see an amazing number of participants, but usually people are slack and joining. And I thought I'll share some resources, some wonderful books that I've been, I've come across, I've read through, I've done reviews of, and then we'll start in the main crux of it. You can take a snapshot of these. You can always send a message to Christina, ma'am, to me. The WhatsApps are there, the emails are there. If you want these books, some of them are also available as PDFs. Ask me. So I've just put across around 7 to 8 books, some very good books on these topics that will open up your horizon, will help you what good education and unschooling is all about. So number one book is called Why Are You Still Sending Your Kids to School? Very provocative statement. Absolutely, if they're educators and principals, my apologies, yes, but the book is beautiful. It opens up a forum for discussion that what are schools doing? The next book on my right, and now all of you are seeing the same screen. It's not a teacher's dilemma, which is right and wrong. The orientations are same. Is a beautiful book, The Call of the Wild plus Free. It's about reclaiming wonder in your child's education. These are very well written books, and if you are a reader, I recommend these books. Two other books, little more popular, is the one on my right again, The Brave Learner, How to Find Magic in Homeschool Learning and Life. These are nice books, and I said these are like, starters as we go on, and Unschooling to University. A lot of us have this question that if I unschool or homeschool or do not send my child to a school, and again I said this is either or situation, it's not that you can do both of it. Is the path to university successfully available? Yes. Of course, you don't have to read the book. Some of the homeschoolers, some of the unschoolers have gone on to crack IIT JEE. They are in some of the top Ivy Leagues of the world, and they're doing brilliant. If not better than others, they are also in the same league as most of the schoolgoers are. Another three book that I quickly recommend is I call him the father of homeschooling, John Holt. His books are really good. There are a lot of books that John Holt has written. This one is specifically on homeschooling, so you can pick this book, make your own. The Unschooling Handbook is an illustrative idea of how do you make your home as your classroom. And then there is a beautiful book by our own Indian author, Tame, which says Deschooling Gently. There is a lovely biology program or an experiment which says if you throw a frog in hot water, the frog will jump away. But if you put the frog in the water and boil it gently, warm it gently, the frog will die but will not jump out of it. Well, that's what Tame is saying, that at the end of the day, that's what schools do. And I know I have nothing against schools, but sometimes our creativity is lost in education system. We all have come across it. Look at what has happened of us. So that's one. And the last two books, and as I said, these are my starters for all of you, are not education related, but beautiful books. I thought you should also read something across the horizon. Is a very popular author, Robin Sharma. I think everyone knows him, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. There's a book, beautiful book, a book that most of us do not know, that The Little Book, and these are black book that he's done very nicely. The Little Black Book for Stunning Success is a great book. And then there's another book which is called 100 Things Successful People Do, and successful people attend my workshops and webinars. Well, that's a pun there. But yes, thank you so much for making it possible, for having this webinar on a Saturday afternoon. For some of you, it could be a little early if you're in Gulf. Irrespective, let's make sure that this is worth your time. So with these starters and the pointers, let's get into it. I will be doing the session. I'm Dawood Vaid. A little bit of what my daughters would like to see of who I am. So I grew up in a small town called Port Blair. Beautiful, scenic Andaman Nicobar. Well, in fact, after 20 years living there, I actually did scuba diving last year, and it's amazing. I love Port Blair. I wish there were better internet. I would have gone and lived there. Yes, I love horse riding. That's what I do. We had courses and we jump on a horse. And by the way, world history was written on a horse. So I'm very, very pro. Yes, with my daughters, I read a lot. So the book collection that I've got, these are some of my favorite books, and I read a lot on education, a lot on self-help, a bit of fiction. I just finished 40 Rules of Love, Elif Sharaf, an Iranian author, based on a recommendation. Good book. Dan Brown, my favorite fiction author. Generally, I read most on education, and a very strong proponent of SDG. The 17 United Nations goals is what I teach children. I encourage that you pick up these, and we will talk about that in a while. And yes, I'm a big time Avengers fan. So there you are. It's a little bit of what I do. I've traveled across the world, seen a lot of universities, but one of my best learning has happened in this place. This is the Red Square in Moscow, Tverskaya, and a lot of my work took me and introduced me to the Russian scientists. Well, no, I'm not in a James Bond movie, but one of the learning I did, and I was working in Dubai. My office was headquartered in Dubai, and from Dubai to Moscow, it's the same longitude, right? So as I talk about, you go the same line, a little bit of geography, and it would take 5 hours to reach, Moscow to Dubai or Dubai to Moscow. But despite the time zone, you would still be in the same time zone because the same longitude, right? The time will not change. And one of the lessons, I would travel from the airport back to my hotel, and one thing I learned in Moscow was every nook and corner there were universities, higher learning, brilliant higher learning. And then I would come back to Dubai, and what would I see? Every nook and corner. I'm sorry, sister. One of my colleague Tanzim is in Dubai, and there are only malls out there. And one thing I learned really well was a nation decides what education policies are. By the way, I'm very proud of the new NEP that we as a nation have come up with. Yes, it took us 2 decades later. It should have come in 2000. It's come in 2020. But at least कुछ तो अच्छा हुआ कोरोना में लोग को सोचने का टाइम मिला, and we come up with a very good policy. But trust me, it's all about the execution. What has happened is I've seen the lives in these two countries, so Russia and UAE. And one thing I realized is Russians are laid back. Oh, evenings there's all about conversations over vodka. Well, that's minus part of it, but the conversations are very interesting. They had a lot of time on their hand. And when I come back to my home in Dubai where I lived, and my eldest daughter was born, I would see we were rushing for something. There was always something to do. There was always a big ticket mall happening. There's an event happening. There's we were busy all the time. And that is when I realized education needs a little different perspective. Well, I'll give you a very nice story, and I tell stories. I'm a storyteller at the end of the day. I enjoy my conversations with children. During the height of Cold War, you remember the Cold War? I spoke of Russia, so I thought I'll take an example from the Russians. Americans and Russians were fighting a strange war, not physical, but there was this space race. So who would land on moon, who would go in space, and there was this spying happening. The world was in either the Russian bloc or the American bloc. For example, we Indians were mostly Russian blocs, right? Americans had their own affiliations and affinities. Irrespective, we saw this huge thing happening. So the Russians started spying on the Americans. And as they were spying on this very, very important place. You know what I'm talking about, the Pentagon. Now, Pentagon is like an octagon, right? Not a hexagon. Let me count. Yes, I hope I get my maths right. Right. So I did a geography. I've been doing a little maths out there. So when you see the eight-sided Pentagon, right, you see that the Russians were spying on the wings, and they had the satellites, and they were checking what's happening, the data transmission, the fax machines, which is very popular in 1980s. And they realized that there was something in the middle where people would come and go, people every day. Senior officers, majors, admirals, generals, they would come, they would spend some time, and they'll go. And the Russians said, look, whatever we know, this looks like the most important place in the Pentagon. Put all your spy machines there, put all the satellites there. We want to check what it is. The Russians did 16 months of spying. Remember, being busy. So they saw this place was busy, it was occupied. Most senior and the youngest member would come there. They said there has to be something very important. And the Russians for 16 months spied on it. Do you realize what happens next? When they found out what was this really important place that they were spying a lot on, Yes, if your guess is as good as mine, well, this in the middle of Pentagon was, my friends, a small shop called the McDonald's. And Russians for 16 months put the energy on checking what is happening, which they realized because it was a busy place, it has to be a very important place. And that's exactly my point. Today, we are trying to make our children busier than ever. And that's what I made a little pun. Oh, you're not doing coding class? You're missing out something. Oh, you don't have that football coaching? You're missing out something. Oh, your child is not doing the language class? Oh, he's missing out something. And today, that's exactly what schools have done. That's our education system has made us. We don't have time for reflection, contemplation. I've got a lot of people from Gulf. Tadabbur and tafakkur. The word is reflection, meditation, contemplation. We have not seen our children gaze at the night sky and wow, be amazed at the Orion, the constellations. They can't name it. Why? Because they're so busy the whole day. And if they have some time, we'll put more classes for them. Oh, it's a Saturday and Sunday. Oh, they can't go and feed the stray dogs. They have to be doing something. And this idea of being busy is what I just told you about. No, life is not about being busy. Life is about being reflective. Education is about reflective. They say the best journeys are the journeys within. Just 2 days back, I did an entire panel on mental health, and next week I have one more with some good friends around. And I realized that in today's time, the key word we need to teach our children is called grit. Check out Angela Duckworth's TED Talk on grit. Grit is the idea of not giving up. Grit is what we call azima and israra, determination and persistence. Grit is when you solve a maths problem and you have low scores, you don't hate maths because of that. You just realize you were just not putting enough effort. Grit is when you can't do your English spellings or can't speak well, you don't give up and say, oh, English, I will not learn it anymore. You say, oh, maybe I should be reading a little more. Please do me a favor and check out this amazing book and a great TED Talk called Grit by Angela Duckworth. I think this is what I'll just write it down for you, and this is what we are talking about. Small conversations that'll make ourselves better. Now, the premise of today's session is based on these three questions. And by the end of the session, if you can even get an answer to one of them, I think we would have been spending our time worthwhile. The first question is, will schools remain the same after 10 years? Well, 1 decade looks very long now as I revised it, and I said I'll still put it 6 months have changed our school, isn't it? So, what is the future of not just e-school, as the summary of the workshop is? What's the future of regular schools? Question number two is, the environment is changing. You see, look at the buying trends. In fact, another beautiful book by the founder of Big Bazaar, Kishore, right? Kishore Behani. Yes, he says that there's something called memetics. As we talk about genetics are human body, biological, what you learn and get from your parents. Memetics are what you get from the environment. A simple example of memetic is, if you go to North India, the women wear the nose piece, right? On the right side of the nose. In South India, it's on the left side. Interesting, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't even look at it, but Kishore Biani teaches that a good marketing person looks at these subtle changes. The mirrors are put at that part. The way the sales happen, exactly the same way education happens. Yes, Gautam sir, it's memetics that we're talking about. Wonderful, thank you so much. And I think I'll open up the floor so you all can share and with everyone, including me, exactly what you're talking about. How is the education memetics changing? How are you looking at the trend? Is your child picking up an e-book over a regular book? Is Harry Potter and Percy Jackson more interesting? Maybe you can become a Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell is someone who is known as something called the hero's journey. He studied Greek mythology for 20 years. He went to the best college, the Stanford, and they did not have a course. And he said, I'll make my own course. Today, he's an authority on anything with legends, myth, and mythology. Well, so students can choose their own path. And the third question is, what skills do the students need or the children need today to be successful? I'm reading a beautiful book, another one which says the students are 21st century ready and they're waiting for the parents and teachers to catch up. And we are, isn't it? I think our students, if you look at a Zoom class, and I do a lot of observation, they know how to annotate, they know how to change screens, they know how to fool a teacher. They can put your camera on and you will not even realize they are not there. And teachers are struggling. But that's exactly what we need to do. How do we upgrade our skills so our students can catch up? So these are the three questions that we will hopefully answer, and these will help us understand, decode the future of e-schools. Right. Let's take one thing at a time, and that's what's happening. If you and I don't adopt, if you and I don't change, well, this is the future of schools per se. Look at Kodak, BlackBerry. Oh, there was a time when everybody were talking about this Canadian company. BlackBerry app, the messenger was the WhatsApp of that time. Only the rich could afford a BlackBerry and they would chat around. Where is BlackBerry today? Nokia, the tire company, of course, it's reinventing after Microsoft bought it. But what happened to Nokia? Blockbuster, that was what the Netflix was. Blockbuster was what we call today this app that I completely forgot. You stop seeing, going to movies and theaters, but the app that you book my show. Where Blockbuster was the father of book my show. Compact, before it got merged with HP. What's happening to these companies is a case study, is what will happen to our schools if you and I don't adopt and change. Well, I can have the list around. I'm not going to read it across, but the Google projects have failed. National Geography had to reinvent yourself. Some of them went on successfully reinventing, and we still use them today. But most of them failed to adopt. And if anything, the coronavirus, the pandemic, the lockdown has taught us is school educators, principals, heads of school leaders need to look at them and change. A good friend of mine, Himanshu, where we work a lot at IIT Delhi and do these conferences, we are talking and discussing what do the new age conferences would look like. And trust me, we brainstorm, and we have to brainstorm because, as I said, students are ready with 21st century, we are not. A small journey. I wrote a little book called The Education Riddle. In that book, there's a chapter called this man, most of us have studied about him, called Rip Van Winkle. He slept for 30 years, some people say. In my book, I wrote 100 years, irrespective. But when Rip Van Winkle got up and he came to this new world, there were no horses on the road, there were cars, and he was surprised. People were talking with something, a gadget he could not realize. They were talking to themselves. Rip Van Winkle went to restaurants and they were not selling the same kind of food. He could not identify the new world until Mr. Rip Van Winkle goes to schools. And there he sees the same bench and the chairs, the same blackboards, or perhaps just changed by a whiteboard. He sees something that he's familiar with, and he realizes he's come to the same world. He's not an alien, he's not come to Mars or Venus, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. The future of e-schools depends on the future of schools. If our schools don't adopt, perhaps the metamorphosis, the transformation which eventually will happen sooner. It is going to happen irrespective you and I want it or don't want it. The new normal is students will learn online. How and what, we'll discuss it in the rest of the workshop, in the boards, in the choice of subject. But the schools need to adopt themselves, otherwise they will die a silent death and we'll not even know about it. Now, the second part, as we go ahead, let's meet our protagonists for the session, Eisha and Ishaan. Well, Ishaan, of course, is Ishaan Kishan. If anyone knows, I'm a big fan of Mumbai Indians, and these are my favorite characters, and I picked them up from people I know. But today, let's say they are learning online. Online has its own challenges, isn't it? We look at online and we look at the apps and we look at the new age learning and we say, okay, that's great. But what could be the challenges, as I spoke about the challenges with school education, with online? Well, Isha, as she's growing up, now the girl is grown up, is not enjoying her online classes. Primarily because teachers are not challenging her enough. Well, a teacher opens up a tab and she teaches the way she teaches in a classroom. And trust me, online education is not the same as offline. Oh, you don't just take up a lesson plan you prepared for your offline class on magnetism, on electricity, on biology, or anything, on language, on Red Riding Hood, and do the same thing on an offline online class. So now Isha is getting boring. The classes are not challenging. And the bigger problem today that we have is we have realized we have equated online learning with video tutorials. Well, I'm sorry to use big words, but it's asynchronous learning. The students want synchronous learning. Despite all the use of technology, despite all the amazing thing, you still need a personal connect. I'm speaking to you live. You can watch it recorded, but how many of us actually watch a recorded session? Very few of us. This is what Yuval Harari says. Yuval Harari, one of my favorite authors, the author of Sapien, the author of 21 Lessons for 21st Century. He says AI, despite all the amazing thing, still has not gone into law. I wish we have AI in laws and amount of cases and judges that we need, but because the kind of decision making that a judge needs to make, and soon it will come, he says they've not reached a level. The same thing is that the students, Isha in our example, needs real teachers. So what's happening is you can go to Khan Academy. It's a great resource. I'm a big fan of Khan Academy. But because there are no real teachers, and I did that with my daughters, we did good for 2 weeks, and then the fizz went off like a soda bottle, and we stopped going to Khan Academy anymore. Because students still want human interaction. So what it is online? So what it is not physical? You still want to see somebody. You still want to see what's in the background. I'm borrowing my daughter's room with the bunk bed, and there might be things around. It's okay. The students want to have a real feel. And as I keep saying, Atiti Deva Baba, today we are guests in each other's home. Please, parents out here, don't be judgmental for the teachers. Somebody can walk in, somebody can, pass by. There can be a noise. Oh, it's okay. It's real life interaction. And then the another challenge that the students have in online is mostly it's assignment based. So what is happening is there is no fun, there is no skill, and this is what we need to do. Online, we need to have great fun, and I'll share some of the things. For example, on the Independence Day, the Indian Independence Day, because I've got some other nationalities also, we had a team from Chennai, some very good people, come and do a Rubik's cube, and we made an Indian flag with it. And it's not the most easy flag to have because there are three strips, orange, white, and green. But then the students were so beautifully amazing. They said, no, we want the blue dot in between the Ashoka Chakra. And they did it. And that is what challenge is all about. That was fun. We did the flag, but we learned Rubik Cube. By the way, Rubik Cube is one step to analytical learning. It's the beginning step to learning coding. Trust me, you are good at Rubik Cube, coding will be easy for you. Chess, for that matter. Have you played those games online? So the idea is your online e-school, the future is bright, but today what is happening in the name of online learning is asynchronous learning. It's not real learning. So here is a little Ghatkopar kind of, very cluttered. I'm from Mumbai, and you look at the shopping market in Bandra and Andheri, it's like that, cluttered out there with a lot of shops screaming your way. But a small analysis, it's a comparative analysis, not saying which is good or bad, what's in the world of online learning. So if you look at the extreme right corner, the top corner, there are a lot of adult learning platforms. Udemy, Unacademy, Ronnie Screwwalas, and my friend Danish would be very proud of that. The Coursera courses, a lot of courses where you, if you want to add on, and I should add LinkedIn courses, which my other good friend Sagar from SIBA, the manager out there, he strongly advocates, and I strongly believe it's a wonderful program, a platform, LinkedIn. These are for adult learning. So you are motivated either because you are curious to learn most of the time, or you want to add on a skill, improve your resume, get a better job prospects, you go to these courses. Self-motivating because you have to push yourself. The second part is the competitive exams. When I say the competitive exams, well, these are courses you do because you realize, oh, the world out there is very tough. I need to clear my JE, I need to do my NEET. And then there's a success story of Vedantu or PACE or Topper. And all of these courses are very, very popular, expensive, but because they are with higher learning and college admission, most of us go there. The third one, which I was speaking about, are the app-based learning. Well, there is no synchronous learning outing there. And you know about Baiju. Shah Rukh Khan says Baiju. Virat Kohli has Baiju on now. It's replaced, by the way. So it must be good. It could be Mahesh Tutorials, online learning, or Khan Academy. Good platforms again. But at the end of the day, one challenge there is, again, students need to be really, really motivated to do that. In fact, I should add Udemy also along with that. Some very good courses on Udemy. If you want to learn coding, trust me, you can just, I'm killing some business out there. Just go to scratch.mit.in or mit.us. I'll give you the exact thing. It's a free Scratch platform where you and your child can learn Scratch, which is nothing but coding, absolutely free, and you don't have to put a lot of effort. There are tutorials on Udemy. You can join a course, 300, 400 rupees, and you can learn. There are YouTube videos also available. Now, in this scenario, what do I suggest? Well, there is a program, there is a suggestion that what we need is live synchronous classes. And one of the things that I do, but it's not about what we do out here in Golden Sparrow, but this is the future of e-learning. You need live learning, which every school right now is doing, most of them, but the numbers have to be similar. You can't have a live learning with 60 students in a class. Oh, by the way, that's a great, pat on your back. The 83 students, well, this is Kapil Dev's number, 1983. But 83 participants out there. I can do a webinar with 83 people. I can't do an online synchronous class. I can't have interactions. If I ask you to annotate right now, there'll be chaos on the screen and none of us will learn. But what we need today in the future of e-school, we just don't need academics alone. We need life skill, we need arts, we need creative sciences, which is exactly what today's topic is all about. Oh, thank you so much, Nakul, for giving us that link. And really, really fantastic participants out there. Please go there, what Nakul has just shared. Nakul Gupta, thank you so much once again. This is a free thing. And even if you join a coding platform, any coding platform for that matter, from White Hat to coders.com, you will still be directed to Scratch at this website, and you can go on. My students in 3 classes, and just because I'm an engineer doesn't mean I know Scratch and coding. I learned it and I shared with them, and they're doing far better than I can teach them. Right, this presentation, anyone wants to take a snapshot, you're welcome, and ask me, we'll do that. So what do these live classes will do? So hub schooling, what I do, and I can talk about things I do, but the idea is today we've got the best teachers coming and teaching our children. That was not possible. I live in an area in Mumbai called the Navi Mumbai. Right, now whatever I can get in Navi Mumbai are the teachers, and they're very talented teachers out there, by the way, and I know some of them, some great teachers in Navi Mumbai. But at the end of the day, today, why do we deprive my children of, why do I deprive my teachers of something that they can get better? So today there is a teacher from all the way, maybe from Pune, who teaches Helen O'Grady drama classes, who takes up classes for the students in the morning. There are teachers all across in Vasai, and there's some brilliant teachers out there from brilliant school, from Poda, from Rustamji, from any school for that matter, from Chennai and Kolkata, who can teach. That's the benefit that your students should get. So when you do a synchronous live class, the students get to meet these teachers. And why just restrict to one nation? You can have a language teacher from the UK coming and teaching accent to them, if that you want. Number two, you add on creative classes. And for me, life skill. And I do a lot of work on United Nations and WHO's life skill program, 10 life skills, from empathy, problem solving, critical thinking, creative thinking, and a lot host of others, decision making. These are what your students need to learn. Well, right now, the classes that have been kept are very basic, 16 classes a month, 4 per week, student less, but they're also baseline diagnostic concept tests. The idea that I'm trying to tell you is this is what a good education should look like. And well, these are backed by good research. Of course, ignore the education riddle. I'm blowing my own trumpet perhaps, but mindset, one of the very, very, Carol Dweck, and I really admire this lady who's done an entire research on mindset. These are the kind of work we need. Again, Sal Khan with his own book called The One World School. Today, the future of e-schools are right there. Does it mean that your child does not go to school? Well, hold on. Before I go to the open schooling, no. I do not mean that schools will be redundant or of no use. The moment Diwali opens up and the after post Diwali midterm exam schools will open up, we'll forget all about the pandemic. We will do. We've got very short-lived memories, isn't it? We forget our car keys, we forget to switch off the stove, we forget to lock the home, we forget a lot of things. We'll forget the pandemic in a hurry now. But what this pandemic has taught is there is a concept of hybrid schools. When I say a future of e-schools, I strongly believe in this concept of hybrid schools. Hybrid schools is, why do you deprive your child from learning from a Priya ma'am or a Richa ma'am or a Christina ma'am when there's some amazing talent out there just because you are in one locality and they're in different city or different locality? That's what I mean. So continue the online learning model with these great teachers because they are doing better maths and science and language for your students. But there is a football session, you want to play chess, you want to go out for an outing, you want to spend some time with your kids on a park, that is important. There's an arts teacher in your school is better, do that. You need some debates, you must have a language teacher in school. So certain areas, this is what a hybrid model. And the future I am predicting of the schooling education system is this hybrid model that's going to happen. So join in an online e-school which teaches your child the basic fundamental, but make sure there is a library membership for your child. Make sure there is an existing hub school where 10 kids and 10 families are together and you still are able to do a lot more, then just send your child to a school. And like the Russians, you're very busy. The child is very busy. There's a unit test every week, and you're happy. Oh, kuch to pad raha hai mera bacha. Something is learning, but learning is not happening. Now, I would take this conversation further with a very important delicate question. Well, all this is good. What happens for the board? What happens for the 10th? What subject does my child choose? And these will be the next two conversation, and then we'll open up a lot of floor for conversations and questions. If there are any questions in between, please don't hesitate. Drop in a question, and I'll probably pause and answer you. Hope it's going fine. Are we good with part one? We've just done half an hour of a session. I realize that, and thank you for all the inputs and the participation. Can we go to the part two? Can we go to now the open schooling and the boards that I want to discuss about? Yes. So I'm getting some private yeses. Thank you. Fantastic. Right. Now, the key question that we take forward is, what is an open schooling concept? The idea is, when we're talking about e-school, what are the 10th and the 12th indicators? Very important statement. And trust me, this one statement has defined the education policy that I have been brought up with, and I've started thinking. The boards, the boards, your 10th and 12th, or CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE, any board you talk about, are milestones, not destinations. I repeat what I said. The board examinations of your 10th and 12th, which we, as if our lives depend on it, are milestones, not destinations. Well, I've got very good friends, and I keep discussing with Faisal and Amir. I said, agar 10th ki certificate se shadi karna hota, so nobody would have married us, right? If you had your 10th certificate as the case in point to get married, with looking at the marks that you scored, nobody would have married you by now. Your spouse would have run away from us. So boards don't determine your life. Yes, they are very important. Milestones are important. If I have to go to, Coorg from Bangalore, I need those milestones. If I have to travel from Pune to Mumbai, I need those milestones. When the Ghat is coming, when the toll is coming, when is the next McDonald's I can take a break. But they are not my destinations. The boards, it could be any board, from a Maharashtra state board to a Tamil Nadu state board. The IBs and the IGs and the CBSEs and the ICSEs are all milestones. They are indicators how much of your child proven himself or herself, and they're very important, but they are not destinations in themselves. I know a lot of board toppers who today are not anywhere. They are doing their ordinary jobs, and there are people who are entrepreneurs and gone to great companies. I know my friends who are working in Coca-Cola and Walmart's, despite the fact that the average board scores. It is very important to understand this particular distinction. It is very important to understand that the kind of effort as parents we put for the boards sometimes reflect adversely on the way we are looking. We say we don't want, please do me a favor and watch Chichore. One for Sushant Singh and one for the idea of what these boards do to us. Isn't it? Perhaps a newer version of Three Idiots is what I call it, but that's what we're talking about. So in the same line, what is one board I am fascinated with, and I'm recommending and studying so much about it, because most of you have compared the boards. This is one board we are not so familiar with, is an open schooling board, an institute under the Ministry of HRD, Government of India, recognized the largest open schooling system in the world, an ISO certified board, the NIOS, National Institute for Open Schooling. What I mean by NIOS is, NIOS is on par with the CBSE board. It's a national board. And I'm not saying all of us have to go for an NIOS, but the fear that had prevented us from moving out of a school, a lot of homeschoolers, trust me, there was a myth around NIOS. The myths, the same way I keep talking about mutual funds. Nowadays the ads are very good. Mutual funds sahi hai. Why? Because people used to understand, how would I put money in mutual funds? All the money will be lost. And yes, there is a disclaimer, but then if you don't know a system, you will not be able to study a system and benefit from the system. NIOS was always associated with students who are autistic, dyslexic, special educators, students who have failed in an examination, which is also true. NIOS was a board created for them also. You see my language? For also, but it was not a board restricted to them alone. This was a board institutionalized for those who want to study at their own pace. And I say with so much of conviction, because I have taken my daughter out from a CBSE, a very reputed CBSE school. And thank you so much, prisoners of education systems. Aisha ma'am said that all the way from Jharkhand, right? But yes, absolutely true. I have taken my students, my daughter, from a CBSE school and have enrolled her in an NIS system. So let's understand the NIS system. And hopefully, this is a part of a series of webinar we'll be doing. I'll take up more sessions. Jyotsna ma'am is an expert, and I've been listening to her workshops and lectures. And credit to her what I've learned about NIS, and Professor Rajaram, who's done the institutionalizing. So I must thank my mentors and people I've learned from. What is this board? When NIS, like any other board, truly, for me, my profession is a school consultant beside being a trainer. So I am primarily with Cambridge. So I'm an IGCSE school consultant. My work with some schools have taken them as candidate schools to affiliation schools. So I've worked with schools in Hyderabad, I've worked with schools in Bangalore, I've worked with schools in Tamil Nadu, a small place, near Salem and Coimbatore. So I worked with a lot of schools as CBSE, IGCSE. I'm a CBSE student. I topped my island, Andaman and Nicobar. I stood third. No flattery out there. But anyway, the idea, yes, thank you, sir. I will come back to the answer what you're asking. Is when I studied NIOS board, I understood that this board is very similar to IGCSE, a Cambridge pattern. The reason why is NIS have a very clear distinction how Cambridge has checkpoints. They have a system called OBE, Open Basic Education. It corresponds, and I have a session that I'll explain about, it corresponds to grade 3, 5, and 8. So your child can study in NIS and be affiliated with it, and you get examination for OBE, which is not very popular. Most of them only want the 10th exam, which is fair enough. People want the board exam. So there is a 10th board exam, the secondary, and there is a 12th board exam, the senior secondary. Nakul sir, to answer your question, and because I would be happy if you put the questions immediately, don't wait for Q&A sessions. Yes, the NIOS certificates are admitted, are accepted and valid to all the courses, universities. There are restrictions, I would not deny that. Like with most, even a CBSE certificate is not accepted in some parts of Finland, for example, or United States. This is a university policy. But being a national board, today NIS is more accepted than it was 10 years back. The efforts of the Ministry of HRD, there was a problem with NEET exam in NIT 2 years back. NIS went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court gave a stay, and today NIS is accepted as a board for NEET, the science examination, right? For the medical examination. IIT JEE, sir, and all of you out there is a topper of IIT JEE who is an NIS student from Tamil Nadu. I have got documents out there. Well, because success stories are far and few, because it's like CBSE has 10 students, or say there are 10 seats in IIT. So when you study CBSE, which is the majority of the students, so 7 out of 10 are CBSE students. So we say, oh, CBSE takes me to NIT and IIT. No, that's not true. It's the effort that a student put in the JEE exam is what takes them. NIS gives you the same freedom that any other board, in fact, a little more. So yes, they are accepted. Another thing is, there are some universities, I checked up with Germany because my daughter is learning German as a second language, and I was very keen on that part. Some of my students in Golden Sparrow, we are introducing these languages. Some universities don't take up. And I always say that, how many universities do you want to go to? Let's say in India, there are 5,000 universities for post 12. So after 12, there are 5,000 colleges. Let's say 50 don't take up NIOS. That still leaves me 4,500 and sorry, how much is that? 4,550, 4,450? Yes. Or 500 don't take it, or 1,000 don't take it. It still leaves me 4,000. You see, how many do you want for your child, for your son and daughter? One, right? So sometimes we focus a lot on what is not possible than what is possible. So absolutely. Thank you so much, Faisal. I know where my maths stand, but I did say 950. I forgot. I said 450. Right. So exactly. We all. What is good about NIS, by the way, is look at the levels. The choice that NIS gives you is 35 subjects. And that is a lot of, it includes 18 languages in your 10th. So, if I don't want to take up, let's say, Hindi as a language or Tamil as a language, it can be my mother tongue. It can be an important language, Gujarati as a mother tongue. I don't want to still take it. I can still take up only English. Unlike a state board where the language Kannada or Marathi would be compulsory, it is wonderful. I recommend studying a language. But you want to study a language for the sake of language and not for the examination. I know a lot of my friends, we studied subjects like French or Sanskrit. I did Sanskrit, but most of us can't speak a word of French. Why? Because we studied French for examination, not for conversation. And I would love my students to immerse in drama. I'm in Maharashtra and I do drama in Marathi. The theaters, How amazing would be a Girish Karnad come and do a Kannada drama for you? You want, what Nasruddin Sheikh coming, these are the actors, but I want them to introduce the love of the language, not the fear of the language. So that's a choice you have in NIS to pick up one language or more languages in the 18 languages you've got. And then the 35 subjects, we'll talk about it. So please post your questions as we go ahead. What are the age criteria? Exactly, NIS, because it is meant for anybody to take an exam, the upper limit is not there, right? But there is a lower limit. So for OBE, Open Basic Education, that's the age limit that's right there on film, 7, 9, and 12 years. So you need to be at this age to join them. And in the online schooling that I'm part of, the Golden Sparrow, we use Cambridge as a basic curriculum. So I use a lot of Oxford and Nelson curriculum outlet, but my outcomes are also based on NIOS. So the end of it, your 10th examination will be a completely proper board exam with a certificate. The way you get a CBSE certificate, you can go ahead and do your 12th and you can go ahead and do your higher studies also. In fact, today, if you look at Indian education system, the open schooling is so beautifully charted out, you need not go anywhere else. You can do your 10th from NIS, 12th from NIS, and then higher education from IGNO, and that's your complete education, and all of them are valid. Trust me, today we are looking at skills over certificate. Organizations like Tesla, Netflix, Google, they are saying, give us skilled people, not people who have got a lot of certificates and no skills. And that's exactly what we need to aim for. That does not mean schools don't teach. I'm saying a hybrid model, the best educators will come and teach. So this is what NIS is all about. Well, a little technical, but I'll do a special session on the details of NIS, and I'll request Jyotsna ma'am to come and address all of you because she is an expert in that. But this is a small summary. NIS has the same way most of the other education boards have. There's a stream one. A stream one is for 10th and 12th, a regular stream. There is a block one, so you can appear. As I said, it's exactly modeled like Cambridge. Very interesting board. The only thing is sometimes these boards, because they are, the challenge is some people complain, I've applied now, so I've not got any response. And that's one challenge I accept. The limitations, there is no interaction that you expect from a grade board. So you might get a result or an answer after a month or a two, but that's something you need to be prepared for. But I am accepting that. I'm accepting NIS with its positives and the flaws, but this is beautiful. Stream one NIS is for 10th and 12th. So you appear for the exam, and the price is also competitive. It's 2,000 rupees. You pay 250 rupees per exam compared to 45,000 for a Cambridge examination. You choose. It's your choice. It is not about finance. But then there are two choices for writing the examination. There's a block one and a block two. So there's a block one, you can appear between March and September, or September and March. These are just technical terms when you appear. We will do a live session on how to appear for the NIS. And by the way, in the pandemic, they had increased the admission date from September to October. Now it is said that they will increase it to December as well. Today is the last date for NIS admission, but they will increase to December. So anyone wants to appear, they can appear for your OBE level as well. There is stream 3, which is for on-demand examination. So we are not interested in that as of now. But if somebody who's unsuccessful in 10th and 12th can appear, and that's a different one, stream 3 and 4. There is stream 5. Stream 5 is for OBE level, which is exactly what, like, for example, my daughters of Golden Sparrow students, hub schooling students out there, we are appearing for OBE level A, B, and C. A corresponds to your grades 3, 5, and 8. B is 5 and C is 8. So that's how respectively the grades are. And these are the areas I already spoke about. The subjects, I'll take a little more detailed summary of what subjects are available. But trust me, the more you study, the more confident you become. As I said, a child, of course, yes, there's a question again on the chat which says, no, you can't appear for two boards at the same time. NIS does not accept it. It's a recognized government board. So you can't say my child will do a Cambridge or a state board and an NIS also. So yes, thank you so much, Shaisa ma'am. That yes, hope they improve the contact system. Yesterday I was listening to the vice president or vice director of NIS, and we conveyed it to her. So there was a live session with her, Sudha ma'am, and one of the things we conveyed that your response time is very poor. When you appear, the books don't come after a month or two. So this is where the entire Golden Sparrow Hub Schooling has taken the responsibility. We supply. There's a photocopies, there are PDFs. We say, okay, we will take care of those areas where your student. We just use NIS as a board. The same way, how many of you have ever interacted with a CBSE or a Cambridge board? None. No, we don't know what the boards do. We don't know what a Cambridge does. Even though as a school we might be interacting, only time you interact is when you pay fees, when you pay the all the invoices they send. The same way NIS is its own world. It's a board situation Delhi, but there is a Pune office, and a lot of people from Pune and Bangalore are part of NIS, is what I understand. Not so much from Mumbai. With Golden Sparrow Hub Schooling, we'll change it across India because that's the whole goal that we've got. It's a full-fledged e-school that we've started. Now, this is the third part of what our conversation is about, that what kind of subjects can we talk about. So here's a question. I wanted you to use your chat and let me know, if there was one subject you could introduce in the schools of the world, what would that be? Let me see if I can get at least 10 responses from everybody. If there is one subject you can introduce, what would that be? Go ahead, please use your chats and let me know what your subject would be. It'll be interesting to know your viewpoints as well. So it's so many people, with 84 people out there. Can I have, right? Wonderful. Okay. I've got moral education, ethical education, that Maria says, Nakul says moral, Bashir sir says geography. Well, I love geography. I love to teach them. Social interaction, Christina ma'am says that. Habib sir, wow, I think I can understand robotics. I think you should be taking robotic classes, Habib sir. Well, language, moral science, wonderful. Soft skills, absolutely wonderful. Mubashira ma'am says that. Shazia ma'am says foreign language. Which one, Shazia ma'am? Anyone perhaps? Mandarin. Yeah, we will need a lot of Mandarin, and German is one recommendation I have got. Local Indian languages, absolutely. Latin, Arabic, Sanskrit, character development. Wasim sir says that. Port Blair, oh, that's wonderful. Welcome, my city. Tolerance, I'm sorry if I'm missing something. Faisal says personality development. Ammar says French. Yes, Dr. Helen from Kuwait says coding, absolutely wonderful. Philosophy of being happy. Nakul sir, I think Delhi, you must be going to study the Delhi happiness curriculum that Arvind Kejriwal government have introduced, which is interesting. I studied a bit of it, having met Manish Sisodia and looked at it. Don't worry, I'm not an AAP party member right now, but some good things you appreciate. Good. Rhea says human emotion, phonics. Yes, Neha ma'am. Phonics, by the way, phonologic. I'm sorry if I'm getting it right. You must attend her sessions. Storytelling, phonics sessions are wonderful, Sneha ma'am. Yes, Shazia ma'am. Someone who's always smiling has to introduce the happy curriculum. Very interesting. EQ, Sumaya ma'am says emotional intelligence, Daniel Goldman. Fantastic, fantastic. So now these are brilliant works. I'm sorry I'm not able to read all the comments, but yes, these are brilliant ideas, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. When you have so much, oh yes, Braille and sign language, Dr. Helen, absolutely. Wonderful, the ideas that you're sharing. Now, with so many ideas, exactly what happens. Why are we not introducing them? That's because we're dependent on our education system. Well, school says, I want to introduce German, but there only one student. I don't have teacher, I have to pay a teacher. Now, the future of e-learning is you don't have to wait for the teacher is waiting for you. That's true, isn't it? Exactly. The teacher is waiting for you. And one of the best part about online learning is teachers facing the student. I am there talking to you, right? My back is not to you. Most of the time in a regular school, and these are very symbolic methods, but that's exactly what you're saying. Such an amazing, I would like, Krishna, just to summarize it and just put those subject, at least put it somewhere in a notepad and we can put it up. Why are we not introducing is the fear? Political science, for that matter. Studying African geography, studying genomes, DNA, human evolution, robotics, yes, studying animal kingdom, whatever, video making. I wondered why nobody said video making. Oh, tutorials. Oh, TikTok stars. Thank TikTok is banned, but the stars are going to remain. Influencers, social media marketing. We had Anisa ma'am come and do a brilliant session on social media. Life skills, gardening, as I keep reading about, psychology, and that's exactly what I'm coming across. One of the beauty of NIOS is the choice of subject, and exactly you don't need 5 students. One child can take up a subject and you teach it. Not that all you all are intellectuals out there and you have given a list of subjects which I can actually push on to NIOS, but they still have got brilliant choices. Besides the regular, the maths, the science, they've got business studies. Trust me, I've got a Gujarati teacher teaching business studies, right? Shivana ma'am, Shivana Patel. And I am sure, if not, I'm going to get Ambanis and Adanis coming out of my class in Golden Sparrow. Why? Because the thinking, the logic is beautiful. There is a subject called economics there. Psychology, most of you mentioned about mental health. Yes, we need psychology. My wife, she does psychology studies on me and then she passes her MA examination, but at least I'm a good guinea pig for her. But these are brilliant subjects that NIS already has. You don't have to recommend. There are few more. Let's say you don't want to do maths. Is my life dependent on doing maths? No. I can take up home science for that matter. And a lot of people say, Dawood, so you always biased with home science. My mother has done home science, and trust me, she's one of the best educators you can see. Oh, the example is right in front of you. A little pat on the back. Yeah, no, but trust me, everyone loves their mother, but I can see my mother studying from Gujarati medium. She speaks wonderful. Her communication skills are good. And the kind of creative work she does, the architects will be ashamed what input she gives in. So there you are. There is a home science in NIS. Arts as a subject. Aparna ma'am, one of Aparna Hajmal, go Facebook her, some amazing work that she does. And look at the way she's teaching. She's teaching about Delhi arts. And anybody who does not know Delhi, go watch Money Heist. And you will know who Professor is, right? So you know Raquel and the professor and all the El Salvador Dali mask. Well, there is a concept of Dali mask in NIS arts. Worldly painting is what she's teaching right now to the kids. I think Renaissance art, about Picasso, about Michelangelo, about Leonardo da Vinci. Who knows what your kids can become? Trust me, today the arts and the artists are doing far better than coders of the world. There is a subject called data entry. Very mediocre level, very ordinary level. There is no coding in data entry, but it's a passing subject. The fact that my students are doing coding and they will do Python at some time, but they will also do the basic MS PowerPoint and Excel because that's what NIS wants. Basic education they will learn. I spoke about the language choices NIS gives you. You can do in Urdu, in Malayalam, in Tamil, in Marathi, around 17 languages around India, and that's the beauty of NIS. I have taken primarily English as my base language and I'm building it up. Their foreign languages are not part of NIS, but I said not everything has to be for examination. There is an Alfia Soni ma'am who is immersed in SDGs. You wake up in the middle of the night and tell her Alfia 13 and she'll say climate change. Alfia 5 and she'll say gender equality. And she's teaching social studies in a manner I never thought history and geography and civics could be so interesting. Why are we depriving our children of these subjects? So that's what we are trying to do. We need to have the best of the language development. Ask a Priya ma'am what English speaking is about. Ask Violeta how to teach pre-primary and you see some of the storytelling she's done. Ask Christina ma'am, how do you teach? And she'll rattle off Red Riding Hood story. I think she's been living like Red Riding Hood. Are you, Christina ma'am, living like Red? I heard you only wore red for the last 1 month because you're doing Red Riding Hood, like character mein khus jana in Mumbai language. Imagine teachers having so much of passion and enjoying so much. Yeah, there I get an affirmation from Christina ma'am right there. Right, she said yes sir. I hope the big bad wood does not eat you or the grandma Christina ma'am. You fight the wolf. We change the narratives, right? In a Stanford study of a concept called making thinking visible. Why do wolves have to be bad? Anything big, why is bad? That's why we think Ambani, because they are living in a big house, why are they bad? No, why can't we friend with Ambani? Oh, by the way, I love to, right? The point is the stories change. The stories have a different ending. So now the big bad wolf, we are talking about anti-poaching. The wolf was a cute animal and you saved the Red Riding Hood, saved the wolf, and that's how the stories go. Yes, Abdul Wasi, there are limited opportunities and we need to increase that. Same way, ask a Richa ma'am or a Neelam ma'am or a Malika or a Vidhi ma'am. There are some great teachers who are currently teaching the classes, or Shruti ma'am who's doing some amazing work in maths and science. You want these teachers who are across domains to excite it. And this is one suggestion I am giving you as a parent. Irrespective if your child is still going to a regular school or the online school or post-pandemic in a school, the classes are sometimes in the evening also. There are 2 batches. Enroll them and see the benefit. Join them for a pilot class. Trust me, when you have different schools and different teachers from different schools, the teachers who teach make a difference. Trust me, I still remember my school teachers more than my college teachers. I love my college teachers also, but the school teachers created impact. Today, the opportunity is higher. Some of the books, this is a life skill book that we also do as a part of Sky Education, and you're free to ask me for it, ask for the curriculum, ask for the book, online version, offline version. And because I'm suggesting a Netflix movie you must watch with your students on harnessing windmill. Is a boy from Malawi called A Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. It's a dry and a dull movie. The book is very interesting, but most of us don't read. I know that. So I'm suggesting you watch the movie. If you are a really good hacker, torrent it and watch it, but watch it with your child. Open up the horizon. Create learning opportunities. Another great resource for an individual homeschooler are these Brain Quest books. And trust me, as much as I would love to take your child and teach in Golden Sparrow Hub Schooling, we're transparent. The resources are out there for you. You take these three resources, take a snapshot, ask me, and I'll share. These are available on Amazon. Buy them. It's not that you're benefiting me, you're benefiting the education community by being a part of the conversation. So that's what we are doing. In conclusion, and I'm very particular with the time, I'll take up 15 minutes for a Q&A. I'd like to tell you a story. And as I said, I'm a storyteller. That's what I've learned in my MBS from Symbiosis, that's what I did, and my MA that I did from IGNO. And I'm very proud of my education degrees because I asked my colleague, a Parsi in Dubai when I was working, Baria Saab, and I said, Baria Saab, I want to do an MBA. And I was a patent lawyer at the time doing USPTO and patents in Russia and America. And Baria Saab said, Dikra, education nuksan nahi de se. And the Mumbai people understand. He said, son, education will never harm you. And that's what I've learned. When you educate your child, when you challenge your students to learn something they are excellent at, they enjoy it. Trust me, it will rebuild. It will make them, it's like these one brick at a time and your wall is ready. No, I'm not talking about the Mexican wall that President Trump is building. I'm building up walls where they climb and reach new heights. Or I should call them ladders, perhaps. And this is a story I want to talk about. The rebuilding phase will take some time. It is difficult, but this is where we're talking about. You see, Japan as a favorite country, and a lot of work with the Tohoku University in Tokyo. And one thing I learned about the Japanese is they're never in a hurry. Really, they're never in a hurry. So I will tell you a story of the history of the bullet train in Japan. World War II devastated two countries, Germany and Japan, more than other countries. The Allies also had a problem, but Japan, after the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, was completely in ruins. The economy was down. At that time, there's a whole lot of things. One of the challenge Japanese said is they said, we will build a train system, a very fast local train. And the chief of the Japanese railway studied a route from Tokyo to a place called Osaka. And he said, I want to make up a train from Tokyo to Osaka. And Tokyo to Osaka is something like Mumbai to Pune. I'm sorry, I'm giving a lot of examples in and around. Mumbai to Pune in the worst driving scenario can take you 3 to 5 hours, right? Right. Most of you are boasting about traveling in 2 hours time. This is a 320-mile train track from Tokyo to Osaka, but it took 20 hours for people to travel. So the head of the Japanese railway told his people, I want you to make a train that will take fast enough for me to go. So the goal was to invent a faster train. The engineers worked very hard. The Japanese engineers worked out and they created a train that runs 65 miles per hour. Please, Faisal sir, do the calculation and tell me in terms of hour. Probably it'll be 70, 77 kilometers per hour, if that's right, serves me right. At that time, this was the fastest train in the world, the fastest passenger train in the world, and they were very proud of it. They came and told the head, and the head said, are you crazy? 65 miles? These incremental changes will do nothing for the Japanese economy. I want 120 miles and nothing less. Right? 120 miles an hour. And the engineers came and said, sir, that's not possible. 120 miles is impossible. Plus, there are mountains in Japanese range. Too many mountains. How can a train has to go around? The centrifugal force will derail the train, the magnetic allies, and the train can fall down. The head was not impressed. The head said, I don't care. Make tunnels. The goal now shifted from making the fastest train to making tunnels across the mountain in Japan. And look at it. When you look at a situation from a paradigm shift, you didn't say, I'm going to go turn around the mountain. I'm going to go through the mountain. And that's what they did. The railway head sets a statement, which I repeat, incremental improvement will only yield incremental economic growth. You try to do a little bit here and there, will not solve. One course, one program, one session will not solve. If you want consistency, enroll your child for a consistent program. And ultimately, and it's a long story and it's beautiful. The engineers came back with 75 miles and the engineers came with 90 miles and the head was persistent. 120 is what I look at. In 1964, 10 years after this project was launched, the world's first bullet train, the Shinkansen train, was launched, and the rest they say is history. They made this trip, which approximately should be 5 hours, that Faisal writes down, in 3 hours and 58 minutes. And today, the bullet trains all across. We have one from Ahmedabad to Mumbai, isn't it? And all the Gujaratis, yeah, we all are proud of it. But at the end of the day, this is what happens. When you push yourself to believe in something, and I believe in the future of e-learning, trust me, we can achieve a speed of 120 miles per hour. There's a book called The Hurried Child, and there's another version. I say, I don't want to push my child. Trust me, I want to push myself for the child to exceed. I want to believe in the power of online education because the hybrid models are going to work. And that's what happened. When my child interacts with people like Colonel Basin addressed the children on 15th August as a part of hub schooling. And this was an open program. I invited all the children. When an admiral is speaking in the full uniform, trust me, this was the best Independence Day program I ever attended. It was not the boring one. I'm sorry about it. I'm a proud Indian, very patriotic. But the ones you do in school, the children are waiting for 2 hours, yawning at 7 o'clock in the morning because the flag hosting has to happen. This was fun. We had a game, we had a quiz, we had a song, and we had some scenes from the movies Uri, yes, and then we had the slogan, "How is the Josh? Hi, sir." And at the end of the day, we are proud Indians. Oh, the students met a Padma Shri social worker, bike ambulance Dada from Northeast, and thank for my friend Sharif Bhai who introduced me to him. A Padma Shri is talking to the children. Guest lectures. There were guest lectures from Mexico, from Nigeria, from Turkey. The students now, an online model, can do things they can never do in an offline model. This I already spoke in the beginning of the time. The Rubik Cube, and for proof, here is a real Rubik Cube that the kids made. You can see them. You can see them making it. You see one here. There is, if you see my cursor, there is not the one. This one has a proper Ashok Chakra. This one has a proper Ashok Chakra, and the kids were proud of the achievement. It's an Independence Day celebration that we did, and there's so many of them that I would skill lessons. Students have a regular skill-based lesson. Don't deprive them. And this is what we're saying. Reading program. Where are the read alouds for children? A child must read aloud. Exposure to beautiful books. There are book quizzes that are happening online regularly, and I see most of you enjoying them. This is a business studies class, and entrepreneurs are coming out of it. Trust me, you would want to buy the shares of the company before their companies go public, because I am proud of these kids, the way they are learning across. So you are talking about different areas, the SDGs, you're talking about programs from across, and this is the last part of it. Join the cause. And as I said, this is the only time I market my work. But yes, you're welcome to ask me, ask Christina ma'am, ask the rest of the team, what can you do for your child? Well, I shared a lot of ideas. This is what I'm sharing now, specifically the last few slides of what Golden Sparrow Hub Schooling is doing. So we divide our program into three very important zones: the head, the heart, and the hand. So basically, it's about science, language, and mathematics. We also have sessions on fitness, on arts, 16 sessions plus extra sessions that you do. Independent trainers comes in, regular teachers from Mumbai's best schools right now. And as of now, until grade 8, or we call them the three zones, we call them violet. Right now, violet is the youngest one. The blue is the elder one. The yellow is board agnostic. So irrespective of the board, you have to learn about basic algebra. You have to learn about basic electricity. You have to learn about your grammar and syntaxes. The kids do that. There's a pre-primary program with two excellent pre-primary teachers. We call it silver, pink, and orange. This is a morning batch. But the idea is this is where the future school is all about. Everything has to be transparent. So here it is. Anyone is interested, take a snapshot, ask me about the finances, what is about it. There's Faisal sir who's talking about it. So this is what you do, what you pay up, and this is the team. I was very, very excited to introduce the team. They are engineers, they are corporate people, they are primary educators, they're special educators. A team here right now, it's me, and there's Faisal Sultan from Kolkata. We've got Shivana ma'am who takes up business studies, Shazia ma'am who takes up the primary areas. She's a special educator. So each one of them have their own roles to play. Some of the amazing people that we've got is Tanzeem ma'am is the teacher mentor. She's right now in Dubai doing a lot of work. Priya ma'am is a STEM educator, some amazing work. Christina ma'am, who can speak for hours and she'll not get tired. She's has to be a literature expert teacher. She's a team lead. At the end of the day, some amazing people out there. There is Vidhi ma'am, very wonderful teacher, students' favorite. Alfia ma'am, who's like the rock star of our program. There's so many teachers I could not name them. There's Shruti ma'am and Richa ma'am. Valeta is a brilliant pre-primary teacher. You should see her pictures where she had, she and a pet dog can do amazing wonders with the child. That's what we're talking about. We are talking about creating a system where child knows the teacher. They're not automated videos that I want a child to have. Well, of course, these are some milestones. I don't want to add on to it, but yes, as a parent, become a part of it. Take a snapshot of this. You can reach Christina, ma'am. You can reach me. But the idea is become a part of something that's going to happen. Elon Musk says something very interesting, and I end with that. He says that when somebody offers you a chance to be part of a spaceship, don't ask where is it going. Just hop on it. Trust me, the future of e-schooling is here. And I have said, and summary, it's the hybrid model that will work. Well, I can't play football, I can't do swimming or trekking with my children. Of course, I can go and put a camera where I'm swimming, but that's a hybrid model. I want to have regular experiences for the child, but I also want them to not deprive them of these classes. And these, and thank you so much. I can see some of you saying I'm in, and I'm proud of it. You join me, take a snapshot of this, reach us. You already reached us through different forums. This is where we stand. So as a parent, become a part of the system. If you're a teacher, right now tell us what are you good at, what are your skills, and who knows, you can be teaching at a Golden Sparrow Hub Schooling. You can take up this program as a growth partner, become an angel investor, or take up a program in your city. We're starting this in Oman with some of our friends in Kolkata, in Mumbai, in Delhi. So, these are the hybrid models that we can take about. Hopefully, thank you so much. And we will open up the floor for taking some questions from all of you. And you've been brilliant. You've been wonderful as parents, as audience and participants. Please, any question, you can use the chat and ask me. And we'll be here for another few questions, and then we'll take the conversation offline. Once again, thank you so much, all of you. I think what we're going to do is you can also unmute and ask the question if you wish to.
Into the water.
Yeah, I've got a child already enjoying the class, so that's good. Okay. Sorry, I'll just mute a couple of you so the kids, I can see the kids in the background. I know it's lunchtime, so yeah, I should.
So you're muted. So you're muted.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So you can, if someone of you have initiated something similar, you can always get in touch with me. I'm sharing my email address, and I'm also comfortable. Do not worry. I'm not so busy not to respond to you on WhatsApp. So
we have a question. Our sister is asking, are all the classes online?
Yes, I just read it. Yes. In the hybrid model that I talk about, there's an offline program. So hybrid model, you'll have to start something with the students in your locality. But the classes I'm suggesting, what I just mentioned, are all online. Right now, we've got 2 batches, but the primary batch starts at 4 p.m. India time to 6 p.m. So there are 2 classes in a day, and then there are two more classes. So there are 4 sessions in a week right now. They're all online classes. Yes, if a child doesn't have LC, can they join NIOS? Absolutely, they can. You need birth certificate or Aadhaar card. If you have done some previous schooling, NIOS will expect you to prove that you've done a previous schooling with an LC or a transfer certificate or a bona fide. If you don't have it, NIOS still have an option that you can say never school or homeschool, and NIOS accepts a student like that. A very valid question: is hub schooling enough, or we have to teach them additionally? As of now, what entire model we are launching from November, we did a pilot for last 2 months, and we said, okay, join a regular school and join. But now we're very confident the Golden Sparrow hub schooling is complete in itself. It's an e-school with a proper program till your 10th examination. So when you join an e-school, we take complete and I say that with great, my team's here and they say, sir, what are you doing? Yes, we take responsibility for the child's 10th. Hopefully we'll extend to 12, not so soon, but right, yes, a complete e-school. What's the age criteria to take admission? As slides is 6 to 7 years. We just started and I'll tell you about Golden Sparrow, and then I'll add on to Akbar sir for the NIS. We started a pre-primary which is only 45 minutes for 4 days a week. Trust me, I'm not saying that you can replace pre-primary physically, but because the child needs to get phonetics, the child needs to get themes, rhymes, we started a pre-primary program very nicely. The teachers, Trust me, the teachers think like pre-primary. They are and they behave like young kids. Yeah, Christina and Valetta ma'am, all pardon, but they are some amazing people. So that's a pre-primary program. There is no admission for pre-primary as such, but the primary grades start from, we've clubbed the grades. So the experimental model has, your child is in violet, slowly we'll branch them up. This is not like a regular school. You don't have grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grade 1 and 2 are together, 3 and 4 are together, and it goes on till 10th. For NIOS, it's the 14 years and above for your 10th exam. So Akbar sir, I hope I answered. You, for your 10th exam, it's 14 years and above. For OB, it's corresponding the same way. Remember the CBSE rule, +5. Your child is 9 years old. So whatever you do, you +5. So 6 years old, class 1, 1 plus 5. So that's what the age is. Right? They can also join the hub schooling as an additional class. So it could be a hobby class. Trust me, I told some of them that don't go for tuition classes, join hub schooling. That's exactly what you would need. So instead of going for expensive tuition classes and it becomes a rote learning. I'm not saying no to tuition classes. Some of you are taking, and I encourage that. But this is an option that I'm giving you. So that's also an option you can take. Can hub schooling be an additional weekend class, Vahid sir? Absolutely yes. As I just mentioned that, it could be a additional class for a child, and you can join a pilot class absolutely for free. Enjoy the class, let us know your feedback, and that could be a start of it. Nakul sir, the way we do a student-teacher ratio in an online class, trust me, it starts at 1:12. Lido Learning, one of a very good program, very expensive though. Ex Baiju has started Lido Learning. They have a ratio 1:6. And of course, then the expenses increase. I suggest 1:12. But like now, there are options of breakout rooms, sir. So what happens is when your child, let's say there are 12 kids in a class, and you want to teach them specific focus, or you want to give them assignment, you use breakout rooms. I can play a game on breakout room in some other session, where a child suddenly is in a small room of 6 students, and there is an extra mentor who is assisting them. So those are the ratios I'm talking about. Thank you, sir. Yes, right now we use Zoom Pro versions for most of our classes. Some of the teachers, we tried MS Teams also and Google Meet, but we felt with all the complaints Zoom had, it is still very safe and a stable and a light model. So we do that. Akbar sir, for an admission in NIS for third standard, the procedure would be you have to go to the NIS website. It's nis.ac.in. So I'll just type down nis.ac.in. Go to a section which says OB admissions. You can send me a WhatsApp and I can send you the link. I just send my WhatsApp number to you. And right now, 31st October, it's open right now. From tomorrow, I cannot say will it be open for this year, but you can take a break. You can also apply in March, which is my suggestion to all of you. Apply in March, not now. So that's the basic procedure. You need to have a few things with you, like the Aadhaar card of the child. You need to choose your local accredited center, and most of the things, if possible, I can do a session only on NIS admission. I can explain that to you. Yes, the private question again. You can join the Golden Sparrow Hub Schooling in the morning pre-primary batch immediately, or the evening batch from 2nd of November. No, nothing required, Zabibhai. You don't need a passport with ECNR, just a passport as an identification and a photo ID. So Aadhaar or a passport is just your photo ID. So that's absolutely okay. Vaid sir, thank you so much. Always good hearing you as well. And yes, we can use. Someone says the breakout room. Yeah, breakout rooms are available in Zoom Pro. I had my fitness teacher Monica ma'am call me yesterday and asked about breakout room. So they are available in Zoom Pro accounts, which is something I recommend for every school to that. Yes, ma'am, we will share the recording on the Golden Sparrow Hub Schooling after the end of the session. Yes, Shilpa ma'am. Right now, the Golden Sparrow Hub Schooling have two models going on. There is a hybrid model which is only available in Navi Mumbai. With I'm very fascinated with Super 30, right? Anand Kumar and Hrithik Roshan movie, honestly. So there is a Super 30 model, only 30 school in Nerul, which is a hybrid model of Golden Schooling. But then there is a hub schooling model which is available completely online, and with teachers like Aparna ma'am and some life skill program. It's a beautiful program. Trust me, I'm not saying because I'm part of it, but because I saw some teachers and the passion. Yes, it is an online program. I'll look forward to meet you. Absolutely, sir. Oh yes, I will love to meet Barira, one of my favorite students in Red Camel for sure. Nakul sir, it is necessary to enroll in a center to NI exam? Yes. So there are two centers, AA and AI. AA is for your OB and AI is, so you will have to enroll in a local center. Yeah. The child's voice tells me that the time is up now. Right. Please tell me. We'll take two more questions and then we'll close the session. No, do not have to worry about the passport ECNR stamp. Well, that's a different thing. That's for travel. Not NIS will not have a problem with that. The
Someone
academic.
asked me. Someone has asked privately that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you twice over. Please tell me, Tanzina.
Okay. Someone asked.
Okay, I'll just mute Tanzim ma'am. She looks like someone from the Tamil movie, or the Ekta Kapoor serials. Dekho, dekho, dekho. All right. Anyway, right. Quickly, not taking too much. Academic year starts. Sorry, ma'am. I think you will have to mute because I think your Insta is on. Perhaps because of that. The academic year we use a DNA spiral learning model. As of now, we've already reusing the thread. So your child need not join from June or March for being a part of the Golden Sparrow upschooling. They can join immediately, like November 2nd, and they can still go on, and because every 3 months we start a new thread. So you don't have to miss out anything or wait for the whole year to start something. So from November 2nd, as your new classes start, a new thread is started, the child can join in. Nandi ma'am, if you can just type in what the
Yeah.
question was, I will do
Can
that.
you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you very well now. Please go
Yeah.
ahead.
There is a question. Do you have students only from India?
Okay, right now there are students from, when we started hub schooling, were different batches. So we had students, most of the students are from India. There are students from Kolkata, from Pune, from Chennai, from Bombay, but there are also few students from Gulf. So a lot of students, the timing at 4 o'clock is more convenient for the Gulf. In fact, in the hub schooling session we did, there were students who dropped in from UK and Singapore, but right now mostly are Indian. Right, ma'am. Thank you so much for reminding me. Faisal sir, can you just put on the website as well as the link for the hub schooling where we'll upload it? Can a person go for graduation after 12? Absolutely, Fatima ma'am. They can go. They can go to the best colleges after their 12th standard, and also where the link will be shared, so you can put the YouTube channel as well. The life skill and the arts class along with SDG will be part of the program. Yes, that's how we are adding on. We are adding on some more classes. So you have 16 basic classes from the academics, sir, or ma'am, and then you will also have the classes. Oh, so Nakul sir, I shared a slide on the hint. I'll again share. It's 2,200 per month, or it's 5,100 for the quarter, which is 3 months. There are scholarships available. So if you think there is something you want to reach out to, please reach out to us. As much as we would love to have students and pay the fees, we also want students to come and appreciate and benefit from it. There are different models we are working on. So there you are. Oh, I think I just sent Sir privately, but I'll just send it to everybody else. So on that note, I think I thank you so much. You all have been very participative. We Right. So we will put the recording also online. Most of your emails are there. The language development, we've not added any extra language, but if someone wants to add on an Arabic or a German language, we will create classes for that. We definitely have this goal in mind to add on classes. And one of the thing I really string, one of my dream is a polyglot. A polyglot is someone who knows 5 languages. As Indians, we all are born polyglots. We can speak our mother tongue. I can speak Gujarati. I grew up in Calcutta, so Bengali, Tamil, of course, Hindi, Urdu, and English. So we all mostly are polyglots, but can we add some other languages also? Uh, the boards I discussed according to the government, Lumna ma'am, NIS is the primary board that I'm talking about, which is a board that you can register and it is approved by the government of India. So it's a recognized board. No university, no college can deny you. In fact, there was a discussion that a college denied and the government actually cracked down and the college was suspended. So this is important. Amar sir, I think Faisal sir just put that link on the YouTube. But if you just go to YouTube and you can try Golden Sparrow Hub Schooling, and hopefully you will get most of the links also. We've also uploaded most of the current classes. We're going to make them private at some point of time, but you can also watch them if you want to. So this is a YouTube channel. So on that note, once again, thank you so much for being so participative. Your questions are coming in. I'm sure Christina ma'am is really hungry for lunch now. So we're going to end the class. Once again, thank you everybody. Barakallah feek. It was amazing to have all of you participate. Very good participation. And
just
yeah,
one
Faisal
note.
sir, go ahead. Yes, yes.
I have posted the link for our channel there, and request everyone to kindly subscribe to it so that you can get the latest updates.
Okay. On that note, Faisal sir, I think I should not make my media heads unhappy. That's Madiha ma'am and Tanzeem ma'am. Please go on and like our Facebook page and Instagram page. Very importantly, I think it's just nice to a little bit of it. There you are. That's a Facebook on us. Marsa, thank you so much. So someone's already telling us we can link on it, and hopefully we'll put the recordings by today.
Yeah,
Once
I have
again,
shared the Facebook page also. So both.
there you are. Thank you, everybody. Hope the future of e-learning, as you heard, the e-school is bright and we can be part of it. At the end of the day, it's our children. Remember, I always say, teach the child, not the curriculum. So let's make ourselves those educators who can make a child very proud. Signing off, this is Dawood Vaid. Look forward to your emails, feedbacks. Until then, thank you very much and God bless.